Ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to another customer review from us. This time it is all about the Massey Ferguson Ideal 7 Combine single rotary model, and to tell us all about it and how they've been getting on with it and the reasons why they've got it as well, we've got Anna Massey. I mean, for a start off, I mean, your surname, I mean, was there any other combine choice really with the, you know, your surname Massey?
There can't be really, can
No,
there?
it had to be.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And then I married a fryer, so I made myself into Anna Massey-Fryer to make it even nearer.
So you're Anna MF now?
I am.
There we go.
MF,
so
yeah.
you're strengthening that branding even more now.
Absolutely.
Right,
Absolutely.
So before we dive into the combine and sort of what you think of it, tell us a little bit about yourself and your farming business, please.
Okay, yeah, well, we're combinable crop farmers, 500 acres, mainly producing milling wheat, seed crops, which tend to be oats and wheat, and spring barley and winter beans, and then oilseed rape as an additional break crop. Because we have always done seed crops for a long time really, that's probably been one of the reasons why we've always run our own combine.
Yeah.
Because you need to obviously make sure you've got it very clean down between different crops and things like that. So it's important you've got the control of it really. So that's kind of how owning a combine started really.
Yeah, it's pretty much a necessity for you guys.
It is, yeah.
So whereabouts are we in the world?
We are on the Derbyshire-Staffordshire border at a place called Sudbury. So nice part of the world really.
Absolutely, certainly picturesque around here.
Start getting up, probably we're on the borders really of arable farming. Just as you go kind of slightly north, 10 miles up to Ashbourne, you're then kind of heading into the Peak District.
Yeah.
So,
that's it. It's really mixed around here in terms of farming, isn't it?
Yeah. Very mixed. But yeah, a nice part of the world to be in.
Okay, and what sort of soil types have you got as well?
Soil types quite variable actually. So we do variable from really heavy clays down at the top end of the farm down to really kind of sandy ground down at the bottom end. So we, because we've got such large fields, you can have massive variation from one end to the other. So
yeah.
It can be
just the one field.
In just one field, so it can be quite challenging.
And do you do any sort of like contract farming, or share farming, or anything like that?
Yeah, we do, which has kind of really come about in the last 10 years. I think because I mentioned we've always owned a combine, and I suppose people in the area, situations change, and people, there's one or two contractors that have changed what they were doing. So we just had one or two guys that came to us and said, would you like to do our combining for us? So over the last, I guess probably, 6 years, we've taken on, we probably do somewhere in the region of another 400 or 500 acres on top of ours.
All right.
So we're heading towards around, depending on people's cropping, about 1,000 acres a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. And harvest 2022, how's it going? I mean, we've been pretty, I would say, spoilt with weather almost.
Yeah, well, we have really, considering what we've had for the last few years in this part of the world anyway. I mean, it can always be very different in different parts of the country, but certainly the last couple of years we've had quite a hit and miss harvest. We tend to kind of get going around here, and then we seem to have a spell in August, which for 2 weeks or something like that, you don't move, and then that puts the pressure on you. So this is, it's been joyful really. You just kind of get up and every morning and think, right, let's go harvesting, let's go and enjoy it.
That's it.
So far, so good. I hope I haven't jinxed it.
That's it now, it'll be raining this afternoon.
Absolutely. But right. Good. We've been blessed with relatively good yields in this part of the world, especially on the stronger land. That's kind of retains a bit more moisture, and so the crops have been able to fill out well. So on the whole, I can't complain really.
And the combine itself, this Massey Ferguson Ideal 7, you mentioned you've got thick end of 1,000 acres to get through.
Yep.
Has the combine got the capacity to do that?
That was the major reason for changing really, is that we were, as I said to you, we had a couple of catchy harvests, and we were really struggling with the capacity. Especially if there were big crops, we were struggling with losses, so you were going to have to reduce your forward speed, and we just felt incredibly under pressure. So we tried an Ideal 7 a couple of years ago, and that was the taster, and I think that probably didn't leave anyone's mind after trying it. So we just wanted, if you've got a catchy harvest and you've got to get around your customers, we wanted to feel comfortable that we had the capacity if we needed it.
Yeah.
And so far, so good.
Perfect. Yeah. And obviously it's a Massey Ferguson combine. Do you have any other Massey Ferguson machines in the fleet? We
do, yeah. We've pretty much been Massey Ferguson for all my farming life. So we've got a 7724, which we're standing next to, which does the majority of the cultivations and drilling work. We moved on to the Dyna VT gearboxes, probably maybe about 15 years ago. So we've got a good old 7480 as well, which is a good girl that we've hung on to. I think she's coming up to about, she's probably 10 years old, I think now.
Right.
So they're the two tractors that we have, and obviously the combine now as well. So,
that's it, and speak of the devil, it's approaching.
Absolutely.
So the combine itself, I mean, how long have you been running this one, this Ideal 7?
So this is the first season.
This is the first season, right?
Season, yeah. So it's very much still getting used to it.
Yeah.
And things. It's a bigger header than we've had. So we were on 25 foot last time. We're now on 30 foot. We were shore walker last time. We're now rotary. So it's a completely different machine to what we previously had. As our previous Massey Ferguson combines, it's completely different.
So it's quite a lot to get used to.
Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
So you just mentioned there your previous one, that was a Massey as well, was it?
It was, yeah. Our last, I think, everyone I've had for my career, they've all been Masseys. So I think I started with a 29, 34. Then we on to the Syria and then the Centaura previous to this, so yeah.
And obviously, well, we touched upon it already, one of the biggest reasons going for the Ideal 7 was, capacity. What other sort of reasons, what was your kind of priorities on that list of things, must-haves? What was on there when you were choosing a combine?
I think it was kind of a combination of things. A lot of the little niggles that we had with the previous one have been ironed out in this, because of course it's a totally different machine. It started from scratch. And so completely different setup, and I think we just felt that everything that we had slight issues with the previous one had all been addressed on this.
Yeah.
And it just seemed the right way to go, really.
And then things like, from your point of view, such as the grain sample and losses and straw quality, how have they all been? How's this combine performed for you?
Yeah, we seem to, I say, we're still kind of learning, and there's tweaks that you have to do and phone calls you have to make. But I think we've always pretty much combined producing straw, because there's a trade for it in this part of the world. As we mentioned, it's a quite livestock driven area, so I think everyone was quite concerned that obviously you're moving away from the straw workers. Is the straw not going to be the quality they really wanted? And I would say everyone is really pleasantly surprised that it seems to be incredibly gentle with it, and it also seems to retain. The previous machine used to kind of get rid of all the chaff. It seems to retain some of the chaff in it, which are quite a lot of our customers are they quite like that to be in the straw, especially if they're feeding with it or using it for diversification for feeds and things like that. So that's been great, because I think that's probably one thing we were slightly nervous of, whether we were going to kind of not have the same quality as the straw walking machines. So we're really, really pleased with that. That's great. Sample so far, the rape samples were, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite so clean.
Really?
So, yeah, and I said we've had a variation on crops, on yields and things, so it was really put to the test on the good bigger crop, and that was with that test, feeding into the combine, that was fantastic. Quite often on the previous machine we'd be going kind of reversing, and you got blockages, and you really had to be careful how it fed in.
Yeah.
And
really feeling your way through the crop.
Absolutely.
Every rumble under the seat.
I think we had I think you maybe had to put the reverser on once in the last crop, and I think that was possibly operator error near some trees. So that has been fantastic. It just feeds it in. brilliantly, because obviously the previous machine had 2 augers. This has just got the one, the big auger, and so that's really worked a dream with the oilseed rape. So really happy with that. Wheat samples, yeah, absolutely spot on. They're, you know, as clean. Obviously we've got the year with us, we've got the weather with us. It is nice and dry. We're bringing it in dry, which is fantastic. And losses, you know, they're spot on as well. So so far we're really happy.
Yeah, happy campers.
Happy campers. We just need to kind of keep the moisture up there. So we're combining, you know, through the night soon, won't we?
And who would be your dealer around here for the combines and
our
tractors?
dealer around here is K&O. So I mean, we blame them really, because they were the one who bought it out 2 years ago.
Right.
So they sent it out to us, and we had a go with it. Yeah, and then obviously they looked after the previous combine as well. I had a relationship with them for quite a few years now, and they supported us really well, which is really important when you're buying a machine, because you've got to know that.
Especially a combine as well.
Absolutely, because of course you're only running it in that small period of time, and the weather windows can be very narrow. So if you do have a breakdown, you need to be up and running as soon as possible. And they provide a fantastic service. We had a couple of breakdowns last year, and you know, they really worked incredibly hard to get all the parts to the combine, you know, in the early hours of the morning, and get the combine up and running as soon as we could. So we felt really comfortable that we knew we got the support there, which is, you know, really important. And similarly, having the field support from Massey Ferguson as well. You know, we've had that previously, and that is really helpful. That if you've got some tweaks and you don't quite know what to know, it's nice to know you've got a number, someone who come out and support you and say, no, I think you need to do that, or we'll look at that. So from both angles, from you know, Massey Ferguson and the dealer, we feel really well supported and feel comfortable. So that is obviously a huge part of making the decision of, you know, being with the brand.
Perfect. Well, it looks like the combine might be kind of getting ready for you, because you're on corn carting duty today. So I'll let you get on. But thank you very much for your time. It's a great insight into, particularly, you know, the business case for the combine and why you went for it, which is great to hear. So I'll let you crack on. I think what I'll do next, I'll go and jump on the combine with John, and we'll see what your operator has to say about it.
So he's had a smile on his face for the last couple of weeks, so I hope it's good.
Perfect.
So he's probably got a bit more of the nitty gritty, so go and have a chat with him.
No worries. Anna, once again, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, James.